Imhotep African family, and welcome to Building the Lighted Temple Wisdom Service. And for the purpose of our recording, I am Dr. Nteri Nelson, a KeMetaphysician, a licensed clinician and educator, and co-founder of the Academy of Kemetic Education and Wellness. And once again, I am delighted that you are choosing to spend this Sunday here in this wisdom service. We come once again into these ethereal waters during these troubled times, this universalizing resonant vibrational field that we have been cultivating together and is one each Sunday in this worldwide web, this etheric space, this virtual space, where we may amplify our vibration and distribute the light. This is liberated space, beloveds, so welcome. We come together once again in these troubled times as we're making this dimensional shift in living between two ages and shifting from times material to times more spiritual, which I have multiple videos on YouTube about. In today's video that I'll be showing you a clip from, and in previous videos, I have outlined how we are living in these 5 pandemics. And as of today, we are adding that 6th pandemic, which is the pandemic of war with Israel and Palestine, whose fighters are the Hamas. So you'll see a clip today that I did in May, and I'm actually bringing forward to this video clip. I share 3 powerful prayers of protection and give detailed and precise instruction on how to pray and invoke light as protection. I also give testimony to the powers of these prayers from my own personal and professional experience as a metaphysician, a clinician, and educator. And it is in this part 3 video series of increasing the light within the human family in these troubled times on earth that I share today as we now live and undergo this dimensional shift. So, beloveds, I trust that you will enjoy this video clip with these very powerful, powerful, powerful prayers of protection. That those who see it, I just want to start at the beginning here. Much that needs to be done. But today, beloveds, in the same spirit and also compellingly so, our title today will be Prayers for Light's Protection in the Midst of War Within War. New pandemics, fuller precipitation of gun violence. I'll read that again. Today's title will be Prayers for Light's Protection. We will be invoking that protection of light in the midst of war within war. New pandemics, this new pandemic's full of precipitation of gun violence on our earth, and especially in America. And this whole notion of now run, hide, and fight, you know, the 3 responses to being in a store, in a theater, in a school, and having shooting begin. And so it does cause us each to look at our fitness, you know, to do either one of these three: run, hide, fight. We have to look at how prepared we are to walk in this world as it is. And of course, there's so much that needs to be done in terms of the legislation and around these AR-15s in the hands of not only youth, but folks of every age involved in these mass shootings. And then the trauma, the trauma is just immense when these things are occurring over and over and over again. And then the mental health needs are immense. And, you know, folks looking to either be in some kind of counseling and not being able to find, because there just isn't enough, and those who don't seek it and really do need it. And I will say this, beloveds, when I first started out 4 decades ago as a clinician, you know, certainly Europeans were more adept at going into counseling. They did it more fluidly. And it took African diaspora folks longer to come to it in terms of, well, we solve things in-house and we're not going to air things in a counseling session. But beloveds, that is no more. Not only is there just a demand and a shortage for counseling. I have a waiting list I couldn't possibly, I don't think I can ever fulfill. It's just not possible. And counseling now has become more like just part of your repertoire, or your, you know, just the things that you need to get through the course of the day. You know, like, do you have a computer? Do you have the latest cell phone? Do you have a barber? Do you have a hairstylist? Do you have a manicurist? Do you have someone you see for a massage? Do you have a primary care provider? Do you have an automobile? And beloveds, I would just add to this, do you have a gym membership? I mean, just part of our day-to-day repertoire of things to get through the day. All of these things. And likewise, having a therapist is something that's just really commonplace now. And people just are starting to feel like it's just part of their repertoire of getting through the day and getting through life, having someone to just find solution with, problem solve. But having said all that, what is some of the things contributing to the things that we see as to why these mass shootings are happening? And beloveds, I do want to get to these prayers and these invocations, but that topic alone is many Building a Lighted Temple wisdom services. And I'd certainly want to engage all of you to talk about what you see as contributing factors. But first and foremost, beloveds, which is our ongoing theme throughout Cosmos, because Cosmos is on the foundation of my art, it is about some tracing back to some violation in the law of my art. And, you know, massaging pain, holding on to grievances, not working through grievances or mourning or loss and having it become a bitter brew, or wanting others to feel your pain. So not working through anger, not working through rage, not working through things that can accumulate and in that alchemical mix in the heart become a bitter brew. And then there are those who just plain feel invisible and forgotten, and just a societal neglect of so many people, and on and on and on. This is in no way an exhaustive list of contributing factors, but just a mention of those where people are led to move in this murder-suicide action, and this in and of itself is a diagnosis. This in and of itself is a new should be a new entry in the diagnostic and statistical manual that clinicians use, because there are those compelling factors that then lead to this as a solution that people find themselves seeking. So a very sad set of circumstances that we find ourselves in this planet. And my heart goes out to all that have been touched by these traumas, and by those, my heart goes out to those who have perpetrated these traumas, that they came to feel so distraught that this became a method of that they would choose. And so let us go to these prayers of protection, because what do we need to do today? And that's what we want to look at, is what do we need to be doing today? I just want to make sure there is, just make sure there's another question. Roderick says Grand Rising. Okay, all right. So please do put your questions in the Q&A, and I'm just going to continue. So our prayers of protection with the use of light. Light is a powerful protector, because what are we calling upon? We're calling upon Ra. We're calling upon the sun. But we know that Ra is our local representative in the sky, and in back of Ra, the sun is up to and including the universal sun, or cosmic sun in total. And we know out of the waters of noon, it is the creator, Atum, Ra, where creation has arisen. So we tap into the first expression out of darkness, out of uppercase darkness, capital D, capital A, capital R, capital K. We tap into that infinite all in all, that boundless infinite source, the noon. And it is the stirring, the stirring out of blackness, out of darkness, is light, is the manifestation of light. So it is when we seek refuge in that light. And so even though we call upon our local representative of that light, which we can see in the sky, the Ra, the sun that came over the horizon, we know that in back of that, we are calling on the universal Ba, the cosmic sun, the movement into creation itself, the first act of creation by the Creator, we're calling, which is that light, what that measure, that amplitude of light and vibration, we are calling upon that. And there are 3 prayers that I want to direct us to, and time allowing, I'll get as far as I can and may need to do the one next week, but I'm just going to move along. The first prayer is to be found in this book, Ka'aba, Building the Lighted Temple, and it is on page 279. So folks who have that can turn to it. And it's good to memorize these prayers. And so I just will walk us through this prayer. So this is a personal prayer. You can also use this prayer for a family member. You can say these words for and over a family member. But we start with ourselves, and I, beloveds, I can attest to the power of this prayer. And back in the 80s, I worked, because I've been at this for decades. I worked with the Department of Mental Health under the Division of Forensic Mental Health, and I provided psychological services within the prison system, working with those who were incarcerated, men, women, worked in all of the major correctional facilities. And as you may well imagine, the prisons can be very dark places, meaning, and lowercase dark, D-A, small d, small a, small r, small k, you know, accumulation of and this is to not at all discount that some folks are in prison, wrongly in prison, and I work with a number of them, even some who were on death row, who were wrongly on death row. But there are places where there has been some wrong thought, some words, some acts, some deed, and when you go into these spaces to try to bring some light, when you have a dark place and you try to bring some light, you want to be fully protected. And a lot of my training has come, you know, if you want to know how to suit up spiritually, you know, you want to have a testing ground to affect that capacity to really suit up spiritually, because that's what working in a correctional system or other places. I mean, if you were in war, you want to, and now we have to suit up to go to the supermarket or to go to the movie theater or to pick our children up from school. So, you know, or the grocery store, you know, so we have to really know how to suit up spiritually. And I can attest, beloveds, this prayer of protection on 279, and I'll maybe at some point I'll tell the bigger story of how I came to use this prayer, but it works. It works. And I have committed it to memory. And so I'm going to walk through it, and then I'll go through it again to look at the mechanics of it and its application. And if you have Ka'aba, Building Light, Temple, Wisdom, with the metaphysical keys to the tree of life, you can look at that on page 279. But it goes like this. And one would use this prayer anytime, anytime. I used it daily as I would go to work. I would use it at night in preparation for the next day. I would use it in the moment as I felt like I needed that light protection. So it's a prayer that you want to use if you are going to a situation like a courthouse where, or you are, you're stopped by a traffic cop. Any situation, it goes like this. I clothe myself in a robe of light, composed of the love, wisdom, and power of God, not only for my protection, but so that those who see it and come in contact with it, they too are drawn to God and healed. Forbidden now is the drawing upon my own limited essence, for the Father, Mother, God within me does the work. Forbidden now is the drawing upon my own limited essence. So let's take that line by line. And the power of your envisioning, your imagining. The first verse, I clothe myself in a robe of light. You really want to see yourself enclosed in that robe of light, head to toe. You want to see that light. And that light extends a little bit further than your physical vehicle. That light is that layer, that light that extends just beyond your physical body. I clothe myself in a robe of light. So you see that light. What is that light composed of? Composed of the love, wisdom, and power of God. Just think about that, beloveds. How perfect. Composed of the love, wisdom, and power of God. So that light, as you move into spaces, it enters before you, and it makes intercession even before you come into those spaces. Not only for my protection, this is key, beloveds, but so that those who see it and come in contact with it, they too are drawn to God and healed. Now, think about that, beloveds. You come into a space and others see that light. They sense that light. And even if they meant some ill harm to you, that light reminds them, it strums their memory. In that instant, it strums their memory of their divinity within. And so even if they meant initially some harm, that light neutralizes those thought forms, neutralizes those thought forms or intention, because one is reminded and strummed and wakened to the light within them. Not only, Roderick says, you are lighting up literally as you speak of the light. Beautiful. We are all bright lights, and this is, we turning these lights up, this resonant field to amplify our vibration and distribute the light. Not only for my protection. You see, a lot of times prayers are, you know, when folks invoke, you know, sometimes I hear folks invoke and I say, well, you might want to consider that, you know, there's for example, there's folks might have a prayer or invocation where they're sending that negative energy that may be coming toward them back to its source. Well, think about that. Think about, is that what you intend? Is that what you really want? Instead, consider that composed of the love, wisdom, and power of God, not only for my protection, but so that those who see it and come in contact with it. Now they're coming in contact with you, right? Those who see it and come in contact with it, they too are drawn to God and healed. I mean, so it's a dual action. It's taking care of oneself, taking care of one's brother and sister, and wanting the best for them as well. Invoking that light to neutralize and remind the other of what? The divinity within them, which is the same divinity within you. Then the prayer goes on. Forbidden now is drawing upon my own limited essence. That means limited Nteri, Dr. Nteri power, limited any power of each and every one of you. Forbidden now is the drawing upon my own limited essence. In other words, we recognize that we are not working on our limited personal power, but that the Father, Mother, God within me doeth the work, or does the work. Meaning we plug, like in the wall socket, we plug into the electricity, the source. We're plugging into the source of infinite, inexhaustible power. Infinite, but the Father, Mother, God within me, that same source does the work. I'm not. Now, if you think about it, beloveds, we can't even get across the street. You know, we think, you know, children get hit by cars, adults get hit by cars. We do everything in our power. Now, personally, we do in that limited way what's in our power. We go to the crosswalk. We press the button. We look both ways. We cross at the time that we should cross. We do everything in our power. And more than that, we cannot do. More than that, we don't know how to do. If we know to do more, we'll do more. But the point, beloveds, is that not only children get hit by cars, adults get hit by cars. So we want to be plugged into the source at all times. And so forbidden now is the drawing upon my own limited essence. For the Father, Mother, God within me does the work. Now, what happens when we think that we can do the work? Well, we're looking both ways, and beyond looking both ways, we are then in a mode, in a practice of hypervigilance and trying to predict, and and then that graduates into a paranoia where we're looking over our shoulder all the time, and because we can't see it coming, we don't have that capacity to see is within us, but we have to tap into it. We have to tap into it. And the way to tap into it is to forbid the use of our limited power. So yes, beloveds, this relying on one's limited essence, one's own limited personal power, is a formula for fear, for anxiety, at its worst, a paranoia, because we have to turn it over to the divine. We have to rely upon that infinite, eternal, all in all, that inexhaustible supply, and we have to be tapped into it. So our meditation practice has to be tapping us into that inexhaustible supply. And then, this is the best news of all, beloveds, once you've done that, once you do your prayer of protection, you've done it. It's done, and you can go about your business, meaning you are able to be of the fullest service, that you can fulfill your life purpose service, and be in accord with the divine will, love, purpose, and plan for your life, because you're not preoccupied with the care of this apparatus all the time. You're just getting stuff done. You're using this, the soul is able to use this apparatus, this device, to do its work, and you're not bogged down with what can be the debilitating effects of physically, emotionally, mentally, trying to manage this yourself. You do your prayer and you let it go. You protect it. And if there's a moment where you feel like you need to do it again, then redo it. You'll get the rhythm of that, as I got the rhythm every day, walking into maximum security prisons with men, day after day. All right, so you'll get it. Forbidden now is the drawing upon my essence. This is, she says, this is so, Lita says, this is so empowering. Once you are done, can you recite all these lines? Let's see. Okay. All right. So I think you're asking me to recite it again. I think that's what that says. Let me just keep going. All right. So, forbidden now is the drawing upon my own limited essence, for the Father, Mother, God within me doeth the work. And then we can always say, Father, Mother, God, Amun Ra, Atum Ra, Nebetetcha Ra, Allah, Jehovah, Ra, Asur Ra, customize this to fit and suit you. Forbidden now is the drawing upon my own limited essence, for the Father, Mother, God within me doeth the work. Forbidden now is the drawing upon my own limited essence. So you're saying that, you're repeating that. All right, I'll do it from the beginning. I clothe myself in a robe of light. composed of the love, wisdom, and power of God. Not only for my protection, but so that those who see it and come in contact with it, they too are drawn to God and healed. Forbidden now is the drawing upon my own limited essence. For the Father, Mother, God within me doeth the work. Forbidden now is the drawing upon my own limited essence. Ashe. So let me see if there's any question about what's taking place so far. Okay, just in the chat. All right, so we'll move on. Yes, Lita said, this is so empowering once you are done. Can you recite all these lines one more time when you are done, please? Yes. And you make that important point, Alita, that once you do it, you're done. Just get on with your business. How can you be of service if one is like, like you're still doing it, trying to protect yourself? You say your prayer. It's just like, it's really no different, as above, so below is above. On the material level, so on a spiritual level, if it were raining outside, you'd grab that nice raincoat and your umbrella, you'd put it on, and you'd be out the door. You wouldn't come back and, well, maybe I need to put on another layer. Maybe I need to put on another plastic layer. Maybe I need more plastic. Maybe I need even more plastic. And those are the things now, with the anxiety level so high in the human family, that is really incapacitating people. So you're done. Do your prayer. It's done. Okay. All right. So let's move on here and let's look at. Okay. So let's now let's do a prayer of light when we know we have to enter spaces, like, the prayer of protection is that covering ourselves in that light. And this prayer is for when we are going into spaces, how to prepare the space. And beloveds, we can prepare a space way in advance. We can prepare, let's say if we have a hospital visit, or we have, we've got to go to a courthouse, we can prepare that space. If we know we're going among, I certainly prepared the space in that prison setting, as I mentioned. You can use, if you have to go in amongst people that you feel are going to be contentious or disagreeable, you can prepare the space even in the moment, but you can prepare the space in advance, weeks in advance. Like you can say on June 25th, when I have that court date or that hospital visit or whatever, or I have that meeting, that tenants association meeting, or whatever the case may be. You get the point. So the idea is we can prepare the space in advance, as far in advance, what on your wedding day, on your whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be spaces that Nellie says, I attended 80% of the conference and heard you speak last night, brought me full circle of the work. Oh, beautiful, Nellie, beautiful. I'm so glad you were there. I'm so glad you were there and got to partake of that wonderful feast. It was so inspiring. That was history making. And I do look forward to us at some point getting the videos, although they haven't figured that part out yet. but in preparing the space in advance, you know, you can be laying in bed or sitting at your desk, and you can, right here, even as we speak, preparing the space that you are about to enter into or will be entering into next week or next month. And it's not just spaces where, well, it's spaces period now, because these can be purposed for to be happy spaces, like a wedding or a graduation, or, but still you prepare the space so it goes well. And especially now, going to the grocery store, you would think would be uneventful, that they might not have your favorite product, but it's bigger than that now. So prepare the spaces. So and again, depending on what the space is, you might say some different things, but the overall picture is here, that we begin with, and you got to see this light. You got to prepare yourself and be that light and see this light. So it sounds like this. And when you invoke, you know, you can, you know, you can modify how you invoke. In the beginning, you might call on an ancestor, a grandmother, or a guide or a teacher, but simply beginning. I may begin Atum Ra, Amun Ra, Nebuchadnezzar Ra, Osir Ra, Oset Ra. I may begin Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God. So I'm calling upon Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God. May these spaces associated, let's say for a workplace, may these spaces associated with my workspace, my job, may these spaces associated with my workspace be filled with your divine light, love, wisdom, and power. North, east, south, and west, every crack and crevice, top and bottom. May all of these spaces, every highway and byway and office and building and virtual and parking lot, may every space, every office be filled with your divine light, love, wisdom, and power. North, east, south, and west, top and bottom, every crack and crevice. May I and all who come this way be filled with your divine light, love, wisdom, and power. And may we greet each other in a spirit of goodwill, in accord with the laws of Ma'at, in harmony, balance, truth, reciprocity, respect, compassion, love, wisely, intelligently, and in mutual support of the soul work and service that each of us has incarnated to do. So you just be with those energies, just see that light and love pervading, and it already is bringing about an alchemical mix of how you're relating and how that space feels. We cultivate the space not only in advance, but the moment we walk in, we begin to cultivate. And if there's some energy, we begin to transmute that. So we add things like, as we are invoking what will happen in this space in advance. Let's say this is a wedding. Let's say it's an interview. Let's say it's going to the courthouse or a hospital visit, whatever. We can say, because this is when we invoke specific things for those who we'll be interacting with. If we are seeking some medical attention, we invoke things that the provider will, that the providers will be, that all the providers would be working in accord with divine love, will, wisdom, and purpose and plan, that they would be working intelligently, receptive to the intuitive guidance, to be guided divinely, to be guided rightfully, to be guided skillfully, to be guided lovingly and compassionately, and so on. And then, you know, with things that are in movement in those spaces, we also want to say, maybe it's a wedding, so we maybe say, may any seeming or a medical procedure, or we can say, may any seeming disturbance, emphasis on the word seeming, may any seeming disturbance be immediately and totally dissipated, and divine order pervade. So you've already cultivated in advance that some seeming disturbance is a no thing. you made it a no thing. All right, so okay, there's more that can be said about these prayers so far, but in the interest of time, and I just wanted us to get really going, and I see there's a question. Let me see the question. Doug, what page is the second prayer on? Okay, it's not in the book. What I will do is I'm going to post this video. The second prayer is not in the book. Thanks for asking, Doug. Okay, now, so what we want to do is go to the third one. Alita says, so grateful. All right, now our third one, in the interest of time, we're going to zip there, and we won't be meeting next Sunday because of Mother's Day, but the following Sunday, you'll have a video instead, but the following Sunday, we can pick this back up. All right, so let's just go here, because these are so important now. Do your prayers of protection, beloveds, for the supermarket, for the movie theater, for in your daily walk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen now, and this third one is coming from the beloved Tim Brew. Okay, and here we are. I trust everyone can see that. And we are on looking at the hymn to Haru, which is on page 408 in the Great Awakening, the coming forth by day after night. And so in this time that we have left, I'm going to read as you read along with me. I trust everyone can see that. Let me know if you can't. Just make sure everybody can see that. So grateful. Okay, everybody can see that. Okay. Here we go. Because this is our prayer to that vitalizing light, life-giving light of the sun. A hymn of praise to Ra when he rises in the eastern part of heaven. Behold, Osir Hunefa, triumphant, who says, homage to you, O you who art Ra, when you rise, and to Mu when you set. You rise, you rise, you shine, you shine. You are crowned king of the gods. You are the Lord of heaven. You are the Lord of earth. You are the creator of those who dwell in the heights and those who dwell in the depths. I mean, we're just praying our prayers here. You are the one God who came into being in the beginning of time. I mean, who else do we want to invoke and address our concerns with? You did create the earth. You did fashion man. You know, fashion me, fashion you. You did make the watery abyss of the sky. You did form Hapi the Nile. And you art the maker of streams and of the great deep. And you give life to all that is therein. Every life giving to everyone. You have knit together the mountains. You have made mankind and the beasts of the field. You have created the heavens and the earths. I mean, the one we're invoking isn't worried about that gun manufacturers are making guns, or that they're making, putting together the elements to make nuclear weaponry. This is the God who made everything. And everything is in the Creator's hand. Worship be you, whom the goddess my art embraces at noon, at morn, and at eve. Now, beloveds, this is the foundation, the stool of which creation rests upon. Worship by you, who the goddess my art embraces at morning and at eve. The laws be in accord with the divine laws. You do travel across the sky with heart swelling with joy. The lake of tests is at peace. The fiend Knock has fallen and his two arms are cut off. So this is a temporary isfet or evil that we see on our planet. The Saket boat receives fair winds, and the heart of him that is in his shrine rejoices. The heart of him that is in his shrine. So we can see that picture of our nature, our divinity, our Sir, in that shrine as representative of that creator. The Saket boat receives fair winds, and the heart of him that is in his shrine rejoiced. You are crowned with a heavenly form, the only one provided with all things. Imagine that, the only one provided with all things. That's why we have to go to the fount. Ra comes forth from Nu in triumph. I mean, all things come to Ra. O you mighty youth, you everlasting Son, self-begotten, who did give yourself birth, rose out of the noon, gave itself birth. O you mighty youth, thou everlasting Son, self-begotten, who did give yourself birth. O you mighty one of myriad forms and aspects, King of the world, Prince of anew, Lord of eternity, and ruler of everlasting, the company of the gods rejoice when you rise and when you sail across the sky. This is our representative of all this power that we saw on the eastern horizon today. Homage to you, O Amun Ra, you who does rest upon my art. You know, divine universal law. You pass over the heaven and every face sees you. Every face on earth beholds this representative, Ra, that is representative of the Creator himself, herself. You do wax great as your majesty does advance, and your rays are upon all faces. Every face on earth feels these rays. You are unknown and cannot be searched out. Yes, the power in back of the rising of the cosmic egg, the universal bar and total, that force, that power is unknown, hidden. You are unknown and cannot be searched out. His fellows except yourself. You are the only one. Men praise you in the name of Ra. I mean, our local representative, that's what we can grasp. And they swear by you, for you are Lord over them. You have heard with your ears and you have seen with your eyes. Millions of years have gone over the world. I cannot tell the number of them through which you have passed. I mean, this sun, this creation, your heart has decreed a day of happiness in your name, Ra. You do pass over and travel through untold spaces of millions and hundreds of thousands of years. This is how grand and vast our Creator is, and we can't even give description of how vast it is. You set out in peace and you stir your way across the watery abyss to the place which you love. This you do in one little moment of time, and you do sink down and make an end of the hours. I mean, so the Kemites, they patterned their lives over the passage of the sun. This was our story, to just watch our local sun and what it does. Osir, the governor of the palace of the Lord of the two lands, i.e. Seti, who never triumphant. Hail, my Lord, you that pass through eternity and whose being is everlasting. This is the sun, this is the light, this is the first manifestation of light that we're invoking. Hail, you disk, Lord of beams of light. You rise and you make all mankind to live. This is our Creator. You know, we see Isfet and with causing death, but it is the Creator that is in command of life and in death. Grant you that I may behold you at dawn each day. And this is the prayer that we want to pray as we go about our business. Grant you that I may behold, I might behold this light at dawn each day, that I may behold the light at dawn each day, so that we are stationing in that light that everlasting light. And beloveds, with that, I say, let me stop sharing my screen and come back. And I don't know if there's any more. Okay, I did the question we had. And let me just say, all right, everyone. So I don't see any more questions or any comment more in the chat. So let's Alita says, so grateful. Dua'u, Alita. So let's continue to immerse, to surround, to be like as the light, like as the sun. Let it be our protection as we move out into this world on a day-to-day basis, and know that we are protected. And look forward to seeing each and every one of you. I'll do the video next, the pre-recorded video. I'll send that. Andrea says, wonderful ASCAC meeting. Thank you. Yes, it was beautiful. Yes. And I will, happy Mother's Day to everyone, to, you know, as we celebrate that. And I'll see you the following week live for live webinar. Do tell others about our service and look forward to seeing you then. Peace and blessings. Okay, beloveds, I trust that you enjoyed and really imbibed these three powerful prayers of light protection. And I just want to share some of your comments. First of all, I'm delighted that our numbers are going up. I see folks from that came in through StreamYard who either are members or have been coming through a guest pass. I see folks coming through YouTube and also Facebook. So welcome, everyone. I want to just share a few comments here. First of all, I want to say Hotep to John, who's watching from Nairobi. Hotep, welcome all the way from Nairobi. And then this very powerful comment from Rosangela, who says, when my brother was in the hospital over 10 years ago, this was the prayer I used to ask for healing. Dua'u, Dr. Nteri. And because Rosangela is a beautiful initiate in the academy who's been studying with us and has also founded her own center in Brazil. She knows firsthand now the power of this prayer. And someone from Facebook says, well, explain, goddess, Dua'u. Thank you from Facebook. Just wonderful to see everyone. And and then we'll say hi to Celine here, who says Black Soul Summer is in the house. And some of you who are on, those of you who are coming into the stream via Facebook are getting the link now from Black Soul Summer, because they're in the process of helping the Academy get on to that platform so that we can amplify our light and our voice even more out in the community. This is an amazing platform, Black Soul Summer, that has these tremendous community events during the year, and we're working to be part of that great ingathering of love and light and inspiration to our community. Let me just put here to ask everyone let me just put here, this is building the lighted temple wisdom service here. And let me see if I can just find the banner for our web. Let's see. We can find it. The banner. I'm learning to be more adept at these things. But you're able to join us in membership on building a lighted temple wisdom service. And let's see. I don't see the link here. All right. Hopefully we'll be getting that out to everyone. Please do connect with us so that you can join us in membership. And that is a way you want to join us in the Building the Lighted Temple Wisdom Service. So I'm glad to see our numbers are going up, and everyone on Facebook, tell other people on Facebook, send them a shout out about this Building the Lighted Temple Wisdom Service that's happening every week, that you found your way here. Help others to find their way here as well, and to partake of this wisdom. And I think, oh, here it is. Here it is. So this is the Building a Lighted Temple each Sunday, 11 to 12:15. And here is our here. Hopefully. Okay, yes, to register. Here's the link here. Okay. So hopefully folks can see that banner there to register for membership. So even though, beloveds, we are in the midst of all these pandemics, this war within war, we do the work of our invocation of light. And let that light begin with us. Let us be a light in the world. Let us continue to come into this virtual space that we may amplify and distribute the light together. And we look very much forward to seeing you next week. Peace and blessings. Om Puja Sin.